Hello and welcome to a brand new sketchbook tour as I show you kind of the progress of my 365-day project. And I cannot believe how much work I have done in the last month. I was just quickly watching back my previous video just to show you kind of, or just to make sure I'd caught up with where I was last time. And I can't believe that this is actually a brand new sketchbook that I've been working in. I have done so much work. I really didn't think I'd done this much. So let's dive straight back in to where we left off. I'm just going to lift the camera up a little bit. So this is my large moleskin. So this was the last spread that I showed you. And I've really loved this colour exploration and just playing, splurging, splodging, layering. So yummy. So yeah, more colour explorations. I'm gonna admit now, I don't like everything in this book. This is one of the pages I really don't like. I love the little swatching. That's really fun. I think it's really nice to see these kind of notes that's happening. But yeah, I've got quite a lot of maybe unfinished work, maybe just explorative work. But yeah, definitely not things that I would say I'm proud of. These are more what I call like inner landscape, so these would be really nice backgrounds to then work into, which I haven't done, so if I ever come back to them I don't know. But yeah, it's interesting to see kind of the road or the journey that I've been on this month. So very much starting with colour, and then I suddenly went into all these detailed drawings and really kind of tapping back into this need to draw fine detail, and this is very meditative for me. So that kind of doodling aspect of really looking, observing, drawing. Most of these I think were Pinterest, so just using Pinterest as reference. Just an easy search engine, easy thing to draw from, just because I'm playing here, I'm exploring, I'm, you know, not making any final pieces. So yeah, really fun. And then this spread I am so happy with. My mandala orbs, I always come back to these. They're so meditative for me. I just think they're so fun. They're so easy for me to draw, and it's very emotive for me. Colour is such an emotional thing, and tied in with these doodles as well, it just really helps me process my emotion, and it's very expressive for me. So yeah, very different these two, but I really love them. I'm really tempted to make prints out of these. I might do a bit more work on this one. But yeah, really pleased with these. I will also show you the other book that I've been working on kind of in tandem with this, because I was loving the larger size. So I got a Pith sketchbook. This is really beautiful. I absolutely love the pages. Oh my goodness, sorry. Let me see if I can show you. Yeah, Pith. And the quality of the paper in here is incredible. So I think this has now become my favourite sketchbook. It opens flat. It's really nice to just spread it out. Lovely, as you can see as well, hand-drawn detail versus kind of colour studies, which I'm not the biggest fan of those. But again, I'm trying to explore and experiment, and I'm always questioning, what is it that I want to be creating? What is it that I'm feeling drawn to create? I absolutely love these spreads. I don't know if I can get in here to show you. Anyway, there we go. Very fine pencil. But yeah, drawing with faces and flowers. And this one as well. So just really really fine observational drawing, I guess, with pencil, just line drawing. And I've noticed a theme with me that I will do a lot of line work and then I'm too scared to add colour. So you can see here, that's where I've stopped with this. I've been too scared to add the colour on top, and that's really something I want to work on. I'd love to do more portraits, and I love this idea of, it's almost like imagination, like the flowers are part of the hair and all this kind of that's going on above. It's almost like you can see visibly the thoughts that are happening. And it's interesting to me that every time I draw a figure, a person, a portrait, their face comes through on the paper. It's not me. I don't know, I can't seem to control it. They seem to have their own character, and I'm really excited to explore that actually. That was something I really wanted to carry on with this theme, and it just got left by the wayside as I ended up exploring more colour, which was interesting because, again, that was where I left off at the end of last month. So very big contrast dipping into this page, which I think is one of my favourite spreads that I have done. I don't know what it is. There's something about this orange. I don't usually work with orange. The orange and the blues in this background, oh my goodness, love it. So again, just nice. I think I drew the pen line first and then coloured it in, and I was trying not to be too precious. So that is a theme for me, trying to break through this kind of perfectionist mentality that I have. You can see obviously that there's a lot of things that, you know, it's still very observational, it's still very much a thing. It's not an abstract, but I really love kind of what's happening here with the coloured background, and they're all kind of blurring together, and somehow this blue helps it become one piece and kind of have a flow. So yeah, really love this. I find this very inspiring to kind of take forwards in my work. Again, I went back to mandala orbs, trying to play around with colour and supplies. And then I was trying to replicate that drawing that I did previously. So my favourite page here, I thought, let's do another one. And this is as far as I got. I thought it'd be really nice to add in my midnight skies, kind of as an even darker contrast than this, but I've not actually got around to adding colour. So again, this theme of being scared to add colour in case I ruin something. There's definitely a weird preciousness going on there. This is really fun. Love this. I loved working big like this. I still feel this craving to go even bigger than this sketchbook, and if anything, this has kind of reaffirmed to me that I want to make big art. So that will be really fun. I really love to do something, maybe put on an exhibition at some point. I don't think I'm there yet. This is part of my kind of learning journey this year, but really loving it. And again, this kind of idea of the flow, combining the drawing with this really emotive colour work. Back to drawing again. Just the fun of practicing drawing when you don't really know what to draw, just kind of, you know, drawing from pictures. Again, trying to play with colours and this abstract of the background and the foreground, and having, I don't know, a conversation going on with the colours, and very much having a focal point versus some abstract, more emotive things going on. I then really was started to delve into abstract and thinking about how can I create an abstract kind of composition. So these were more like little studies and just playing, absolutely just playing, using the supplies that I've got, trying to be more free, trying to just let loose on the page and just let things happen and see what I like. And I did quite like these experiments. I did not like these experiments. So again, pages that I hated, but I really worked into these heavily with colour. So again, I was pushing my boundaries, which I really think is important to do in your art, just to see what happens. I've discovered that this kind of peachy colour and sort of turquoisey greens is something I really love, so I really want to keep working with that. I then went back to more kind of observational drawing and thinking more about colour. So just having a few little swatches here, really playing with that turquoise and peach up here, but just swatching some different kind of colour combinations here, which I think was really fun. And again, you can see it here starting to come through, this kind of peachy pink with the green, which I think is really nice, and how I've started to pull colour into the outer drawings that I've been doing. So yeah, this was quite nice. Again, just making notes of what supplies I'm using, just playing around with things so that then I can sort of work on developing what I'm doing. Playing around again, adding colour and then drawing over the top, which is something I don't do a lot of, so just playing around with different ways I could do that. Warm colours versus cooler colours. So yeah, very much getting back into my mandala orbs and doing a huge one. This is one of my favourite spreads as well. Love, love, love this. I love just the big burst of colour. I'm just obsessed with colour at the moment, and just crazy, expressive, uncontrollable, raw colour. And the more I try and create a, I guess, sophisticated colour palette, the more I just want to use bright colours. So I feel like I'm rebelling against myself, which has been interesting. But I'm loving these pastel shades that are coming through here. And then the black and white just really sets it off. There's some lovely detail in here. And I think, again, it gives you like a focal point. And I really love art that draws you in, and then the more you look, the more you see. So there's lots of little details in here, which is quite nice to kind of allow yourself to drift through the picture and sort of come back into this really emotive pool. It feels like a pool to me. It's very supportive in a way. But for me as an artist, I love to create in that way. There's something deep in my soul that I just need to have that splurge of colour. So yeah, this is kind of going back to my inner landscape things that I showed you earlier, and seeing if I could start maybe with more doodles, drawings, keeping it very, I guess, very tight, but very observational, just very much working in with these. And then the idea is to add in big splurges of colour, but again, I've not really finished that. Again, here we've got more explorations. I'm really pleased with these. Again, this was getting to know my supplies more. So Neocolor 2s with coloured pencils. I really love this combination. It comes so naturally to me of layering these two things up and playing around with the colour. I think it's so beautiful. I feel much more drawn to this than to this. Warm colours freak me out. I don't know why. I really love the pinks though. The pinks are gorgeous, and I quite like what's going on here. This is really interesting to me. It's getting quite complex with the amount of colours that are sort of talking to each other. This, I think, is really interesting. So I feel like I'm just kind of on the tip of the iceberg here when it comes to colour. This was me trying something new. So I started with a watercolour base, and then use my neo colours over the top. I think a few neo colours, and then gouache. And this is really yucky. Another page that I don't really like, but I've got some interesting effects. This was really interesting, this kind of bubbling resist. And that was from the neo colour. So putting down the neo colour crayon and not activating it with water, but then putting gouache over the top, created these gorgeous little bubbles. So that was a really nice surprise, and definitely something I'd love to use in my work in the future. But interesting how different this page is to this page. So how different it is when you play with different materials, when you're thinking about that conversation with yourself about what is my style, what is my art, and trying to listen, what is my art. This feels forced and not real, if that's even a thing. This feels more like me. So I'm really, really pleased with that. But it's really nice to see those two next to each other. And this is why it's so important to just play in a sketchbook as well and not be too precious. So I'm just kind of reminding myself of that. I think this is my last big spread in here. And again, gone back to doing big colour work, trying to push myself, very energetic, almost frantic lines in this. So you can see sometimes the emotion coming through is different, and you can almost read that. I love using fluorescent pink. I love it. I think there's something so fun about that. It's kind of come out purpley because of the blue. But then, yeah, this is what I'm working on at the moment with drawing back into it. So still having this kind of very deep contrast between the colour and the black and white, but this conversation between the two. And this is, I just love working like this. It just comes so easily to me. So yeah, I'm obsessed with this sketchbook, Pith sketchbook. I have ordered another one, a really small one, just so that I can throw it. I think it's about this big. No, this big, so when it opens out it'll be about this big. So that, yeah, I can throw it into my handbag and just have a few supplies so that I can just play on the go. This is the next thing I want to show you, which started out as kind of like a travel sketchbook, but it's become so precious to me now that I just use it last thing at night when I'm sat on the sofa. I use it as a way to unwind and to doodle. But this is one of the most fun sketchbooks I've ever worked in. It's a Sea White of Brighton concertina sketchbook. So it's one continuous drawing, and I really love working like this. So as you can see, I've just kind of worked in sections. You can sort of close it up and work on one little spread at a time, which is basically what I did here. So I got quite a lot done that evening. But each day then flows into the next. And again, I'm loving just working in black and white. I've been asked if I'm going to add colour to this, and I don't think I will. I think I'm going to keep this contrast of the black and white, and I'd love to see this finished as one really long spread. But then obviously I've got the reverse side, so I could do something colourful there. But it's just so nice to just doodle mindlessly, and each spread, if we open it like a book, is so different. So even though I'm using a lot of similar kind of this sort of watery effect, I've got leaves, this kind of little bouldery pebbles, every single spread is so different. So yeah, I'm obsessed. I think this would be really fun to do in an abstract colour way as well. So just splurging colour on and layering it up and then adding to each spread. That's definitely something I'm going to do. So obsessed with this. Definitely going to get another one of these concertina sketchbooks. Absolutely gorgeous. And then inspired off the back of that and this real need at the moment to delve more into colour. So I have got a little bit of colour. Now this I've literally done in the last few days. I'm just going to lower you down. So here we have yeah, a load of spreads that I'm just thinking about drawing back into. I hate this. The colours in this are grim, not loving that at all. This, on the other hand, I'm obsessed with. Love this. I love the freedom of all the marks that are in this. So I'm trying to free myself up with this mark making and just allowing these really interesting things to come through. So a lot of these feel kind of like they're just started, so that I can draw back into these. But I've literally done all of these in the last 2 days, and it's been so fun just to play with colour. And again, trying to add in more of these warm tones. Here I've got my pinks and greens. Just really playing, trying to add in more darks, trying to get some energy through there, more darks again. And sometimes that feeling of like overworking it is a good thing. It's part of the exploration. So just having a sketchbook that you're not totally in love with, it's just a messy sketchbook, something you can play in. It doesn't matter if they're bad or horrible, because that's how you end up making something really interesting and beautiful that you really love. So as you can see, I'm kind of obsessed at the moment with these half mandala orbs. So yeah, this is kind of the direction I'm going in at the moment. And I'm really looking forward to seeing where this takes me. So I think this is too big to show you, but I quite like the idea of just being able to frame, this is huge, but frame different mandala orbs kind of next to each other as a twin. So yeah, anyway, can't believe how much work I've done in the last month. Really excited to see where this goes in September. I'm definitely going to be drawing in this one. This is going to be my dedicated September book. And I've ordered a small one of these as well, so that I can do a lot more colour exploration, just layering colour, playing with colour. I'm really trying to get into the kind of nitty-gritty and the depths of what this colour expression is to me and how I prefer to use materials and supplies. I'm trying to block out what other artists are doing and just listen to my inner voice and trust myself, really, and trust that the art that I want to make is the art that I need to make. So it doesn't need to look like anyone else's. I'm just gonna go with it. So I hope you found this inspiring. I can't wait to see what September brings, but obviously I'm going to be sharing all of that with you at the very beginning of October. So I will see you then for another sketchbook tour. Thanks very much. Bye.